Kurt Ams taking evasive action, squared up by Lewis. Mario Chabot looking for the run down the right of Nick O'Brien, but just not quite on the same wavelength. Mario Chabot, formerly with the Mariners, and of course the Newcastle Jets and Western Sydney Wanderers. And Blacktown coach Mark Crittenden feels that he might be worth another shout at A-League level. Crittenden calls him the best player in the NPL in New South Wales.
Well, he probably is, to be brutally honest. I was with him for a season at Newcastle Jets, and what he showed obviously was a bit hard because we were flying high with the Jets at the time, and he was getting little stints here or there from the bench. But you can tell he's a good little nippy player, very good on the ball, and if he gets his passing right tonight, it could cause some pretty hardship for the Central Coast Mariners defence.
This is Adam Berry. Little jab forward for Chabot, who will hold it up towards Charles Mendy, who was waiting for it to drop, and so too on the follow-up was Matty Lewis. Just didn't quite catch it the way he wanted to. He would love a goal against his former club. Skipper of Blacktown, who's just recently broken their all-time appearance record, which was held by Damien Fox with 304 matches, but that record now belongs to Matty Lewis. Good lively starts. The conditions probably both helping the football and hindering it in terms of the cool weather being good and the swirling wind a little bit less so. Here's Bozanic. Little clip over the top for Farrell, and Kololo will return it to the young fullback, or at least that was the intention. Challenged by Ben Berry. Young Farrell looking for options from the throw. Mariners, of course, begin their A-League campaign next weekend, away to the Newcastle Jets on Sunday the 21st of November. And a 3 derby to kick things off for the Mariners and the Jets. Great that the A-League men's season is not too far away. Women's to begin in a few weeks after that. Challenge from behind from Bandiera on Nisbet. Easy decision for the ref.
Yeah, easy decision, but it's one of those battles during the game that you can see that Nick Montgomery is actually targeted. He's probably seen a little weakness into the left back for Blacktown City and trying to get Nisbet in behind. You can see it's happened a few times, but we'll just see how the plays go, and if he gets a few crosses in, definitely good for Matty Simon to get his head on.
Yeah, loves that sort of service. Here is Matty Simon, who stretched well to deflect it towards Urania. And it's an awkward one again for Prendergast. He deals with it really well, the goalkeeper. And then launches it long, first time, looking to utilise the strong breeze to pick out Mendy, who does get it second time around. That's asking a little bit too much of the French-born Charles Mendy, although he classes himself as Senegalese. We all have mixed nationality these days, Daniel, yourself included.
No
and
comment.
me.
Oh, we're all mixed. This is Australia. We love it.
Exactly.
That's about it.
Bozanic getting things moving for the Mariners. Farrell. Oh, that's a lovely ball by Farrell. Unkololo across the face. Away for now by Grant Lynch. But what a ball from Farrell.
Oh, beautiful ball in the behind. He's obviously seen the defender stepping up a little bit, didn't see the space in behind, but you can see Blacktown's defence, they got 5 in the back, so to be able to get a ball in those tight spaces is very well by the young fullback, and as we can see now.
Here they come again. It's Marco Arena on the turn. Oh, not too far away for the Mariners. They keep knocking at the door.
Yeah, look, tremendous ball in behind. It's the second time with the space of a minute that it's gone. We haven't seen much of Varela, but as you can see, his class just shows a quick turn, and you know, once he gets his his footwork right, and extra minutes, and we might see a goal.
He's a quality player, isn't he, Marco Herrera? 67 caps and 15 goals for Costa Rica. Scored at a World Cup against Uruguay.
So you're trying to say is, with that statistic, that he should have scored there?
I wasn't saying that at all, Daniel. Just pointing out his quality and his CV.
Amazing CV.
Good news for the Mariners. He's staying for another 2 years. Signed a contract extension in June. This is Ballard. Miller and Rolls playing it between themselves. Lewis Miller, who are probably more accustomed to seeing playing in that right-back role, but operating in the centre today. No Ruon Tongyik, of course. Well, Nkolola did well to nip in there ahead of Nick O'Brien. And Farrell was the willing runner beyond him. He's made a good start to his professional career, Jacob Farrell.
Yeah, he really has. I've heard about his qualities as a young boy. He's a lot of endurance, a lot of positive play up front. He loves getting in behind, loves doing those shadow runs, and we can see they've utilised that with a few runs up front. So, you know, it's very exciting. First 17 minutes, we'll be pretty happy with that, I would say.
Farrell family very deeply embedded in football on the Central Coast. His grandfather Terry Farrell was instrumental in the founding of Central Coast football when it broke away from the Newcastle Association back in the 60s. So a long association with the game on the Central Coast of New South Wales. Not seeing too much of Charles Mendy or Jordan Smiley as yet. And that back three that Mark Crittenden likes to play has mainly, Daniel, been a back five through necessity.
Well, yeah, you can see a couple of crosses that came into the box. You can see how Blacktown City have been told by the coach where to go, and you can see there's a big five back line when the ball doesn't go in behind. So they've definitely done their homework with the Central Coast Mariners attacking. And yeah, you can see that, you know, they're not playing a back three, they're playing a back five. We usually say that in football, it's parking the bus, but it doesn't seem like that, as they are looking to go forward when they do get that ball.
So far, they've managed to keep the Mariners out despite that pressure from the A-League outfits. They are on a 10-game unbeaten run, Blacktown City, which stretches back to a 1-0 loss to Mount Druitt in April. And of course, they haven't played, as mentioned, a competitive game since June due to the pandemic. Off the chest of Bandiera. Here's Simon. In attendance was Ballard. Square by Roux. It's nice football this from the Mariners. Just not quite able to get Josh Nisbet in behind as yet. Here's Roux again with time. Away by Ben Berry. Throw-in is for the Mariners. Short by Miller. Gets the return off Bozanic. Just to lift it in towards Arena. Bit of a hopeful ball, really.
Yeah, it is a bit of a hopeful ball, but you can see how Blacktown City are set up. We just spoke earlier on about their structure, and they're knowing the players. There's forward runs coming in from all over the place. So they've definitely started the game off well, and Central Coast really haven't had a lot of chances as of late, but you can say due to the defensive structure, they're sticking to the game plan, and we're hoping that, you know, Central Coast figure out a way to get around it. If not, I think it'll be a very interesting game.
Well, cup sets don't happen too often. Nick Montgomery will be hoping it's not the case today. Just 8 times NPL outfits have defeated their A-League men opponents in the 7-year history of the competition. Blacktown, of course, are one of those, courtesy of that 3-2 win over the Central Coast in 2017. Punch forward by Miller. It's a lovely touch around the corner by Simon. Running onto it is Max Ballard, and he might get a second go here. Ballard straight into the gloves of Prendergast, but they were threatening again, the Mariners.
Yeah, beautiful running by Ballard. You can tell he's, as we spoke earlier on, he's kind of the replacement for Gianni Stensons, who did hold that role, and because of that, he did get transferred overseas. So filling in some big shoes, but you can see obviously through his positive play, he was trying to thread that ball in, but because Blacktown had so many defenders out the back, he couldn't quite get there. But a lot of positive play for the young man, and we shall see if one of those runs do actually become quite profitable for the Central Coast Mariners.
Let's see if this free kick is profitable for Blacktown. Adam Berry to deliver, won by Jordan Smiley. You can see how that ball held up in the wind. Didn't go anywhere near where he wanted it to, and then there's a foul, surely, but Kurt Ams is going to play the advantage, and it might work out well, this, for the Mariners. And Kololo, his pace wasn't quite enough to get there ahead of Charles Mendy. So far the pattern has emerged, Daniel, that we sort of expected. The Mariners in control of the lion's share of possession.
Yeah, it's understandable. They are the favourites for this match, and that's all. Doesn't really matter, to be honest, for Blacktown City, as they did finish first in the NPL last season, but it's something that we did expect. But at the same time, there is those counter-attacks over the top, but the win's not really doing Blacktown City any favours at the moment.
Yeah.
But the first 23 minutes, they should be happy with the way they've been playing. And let's just see how the rest of this half goes.
Nick O'Brien with the throw. Smiley was looking to link up with Chabot. O'Brien again. Throw in for the Central Coast, who did reach the semi-finals the last time the Cup was played to its conclusion back in 2019. Second time they've been in the last 4. And both times they lost to Adelaide United, the undisputed Cup Kings of Australia. Look at how that was held up in the wind as well from Matty Simon. That's clever. That's clever from Ballard. Completely sold Matt Lewis, the dummy, but Blacktown are quickly back in possession. Chabot being hassled and harassed by Bozanic, successfully in the end as well. Off the head of Lynch. And Ollie Bozanic will settle things down for the Central Coast. Well, had a good year last year, didn't he, Ollie Bozanic, alongside Stensness?
He sure did. You can see last year the Stajic obviously knew his positive play, knew exactly what he wanted.
Here's a chance. Matt Simon fed by Josh Nisbet. It's Simon. The angle was narrow, and well, it was turned towards goal, but not with any great pace in the end by Ureda. And Blacktown survive another raid.
They sure did. Very very lucky there, but at the same time, going back to Bozanic, you can tell last year was probably one of his best years he's had for quite some time. He didn't have the best spell at Melbourne Victory a few years back and in Japan, but you can tell he's back at home. He's playing the type of football that he wants to. Even if he was to make a mistake, he's there to recover. You can tell he's one of the key players, and you can tell that's why they were successful last year.
It's a clever ball by Chabot. Adam Berry with the stop and prop. The cross wasn't the best, in all honesty, from Nick O'Brien. Arena trying to hold the ball off. He's done so beautifully. Simon to jab it out. I think his intention was to try and find Nkololo. It was Roux instead who retrieved it. Now with Mendy, who has played in the professional ranks, Charles Mendy himself, in the third tier of Turkey. Almost a decade ago now.
I think he just returned the favour for that nutmeg earlier on in the game.
I think you might be right. Miller thought about going cross-field and then remembered that breeze and thought better of it. You can hear the groans of frustration from Nick Montgomery. And that loose pass from Lewis Miller. He's now retrieved the ground to make that intervention momentarily from Mario Chabot, who's back in possession now. Mendy looking to lift it towards that back post. It wasn't the easiest for Jacob Farrell. Well, it dropped for Smiley. Has Nick O'Brien for support, and then into the box by Adam Berry, but not very accurately. Now Kurt Ams will blow the whistle, and that's why. The straight arm has caught Lachlan Campbell. And there's a fair bit of claret spurting from that left eye, which is going to require some attention.
Yeah, pretty nasty cut. You kind of, if you were to label that cut, you'd call it the Matty Simon. But yeah, look, it is a competitive match, and you can tell there's much to play for. Both these teams have just been playing friendly games, which hasn't meant much, but you can tell the competitive edge that both teams want to win this match. And obviously we don't want to see a lot of this, but I get accidental.
Let's be honest, it's not the first time that Matty Simon has been involved in one of those sorts of collisions, and Lockie Campbell believes that flailing arm was perhaps worthy of a card, and given the damage that it's done, goodness me, looks like he's taken a big right hook to that left eye. And Blacktown are briefly down to 10. They do get the benefit of the drop ball, though. Here's Lynch. Nicely through for Bandiera. Cross steered away for now by Lewis Miller. Urena. Now they are short a man, of course. See if the Mariners can profit. Well, not with balls like that, they won't. Hugely disappointing from the Mariners' point of view.
Well, you can see both teams are struggling to kind of understand the wind. You know, we're not going to keep blaming the wind for everything, but you can see some of those balls are getting a bit too long or a bit too short. So the wind does play a major factor in it, but I think it's been half an hour, but I guess they still need a little bit of time to understand where the wind's blowing, but it's quite hard, as you can tell, on the rain and everything around it.
Yep, those close-up pictures really do tell the story. Driving rain and strong breezes. Lockie Campbell is back with us, looking like a prop forward in rugby union. And here's Chabot. Bandiera. Well defended by Roux. Half an hour played in Mudgee. No goals. And Simon has forced one very good save out of Tristan Prendergast. And by and large, the Mariners have had the lion's share of the chances and the possession. But the longer this goes on goalless, the more Blacktown City might just believe. Well, that's a good judgment of the wind. Held up nicely for Matt Simon from Lewis Miller. This is Ballard. Simon. Losing out to Mendy. Ballard to reset. Bozanic. Rude just having a stretch. Clever little back heel for Simon. Blacktown City penned in here. And now they've pinched the ball off Orena. Overrun though by Jordan Smiley. And those little moments in transition, that's where Blacktown have to get it right.
That's exactly right. You can tell that's what they're trying to do from the get-go. But like you said, just that little extra touch, the uncontrolled ball, those little moments could actually hurt Central Coast if Blacktown do manage to get it right.
Blacktown City, a famous old club, of course, in Australian football circles, as that rain gets, if anything, even heavier. 7 years in the old National Soccer League between 1980 and 1990. Had some big overseas stars come and play for them as well, the likes of Bobby Charlton and Kevin Keegan back in the day. Long before your time, Daniel.
No, I do remember that. I do.
You?
Oh, I do remember. I
Because
don't
you're a
remember watching
Blacktown boy.
the game. Yeah, I don't remember watching the game, but I do remember.
Now, here's Josh Nisbet onside, a round one challenge and the second, but Lachlan Campbell says not on my watch. And again, the ball over the top, being held up by the wind, almost paying dividends for the Central Coast.
You're absolutely right. As you can tell, the wind did help Central Coast on this little passive little play. Nisbet obviously cut inside, but like I said earlier on, there's always that 2-3 extra plays for Blacktown City to cover if there was a mistake or if the ball did get in behind. So well done to the Central Coast Mariners for reading the play of the wind, and Blacktown City for defending it very, very well.
Little push by Jordan Smiley on his erstwhile teammate Lewis Miller. Smiley, of course, left the Mariners to join Blacktown in the off-season after 3 years and 13 games in the yellow and navy of the coast. Wants to get some game time, although ultimately I'm told he does plan on returning to the Central Coast Mariners, Jordan Smiley. So he's in the shop window a bit tonight.
Where are you going? I'm down the stairs, down the...
Now a chance perhaps for Nkololo to sling one in, and Grant Lynch steered it to safety, but I think the flag was up in any case. Josh Nisbet, Penrith boy. And as I said, very much a breakthrough season last year. Got his professional deal with the Mariners whilst working at Woolies. That's the reality, isn't it, for a lot of professional players? You've got to try and make ends meet whilst you're waiting for that big first contract. It's worked out okay for Josh Nisbet.
Well, if you do remember when he came onto the scene, he came off as a substitute with Usain Bolt.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
You know, to
Talk
have
about
that
little and large.
It was quite funny, to be brutally honest, but when he did come on, you can see there was something about him. Regardless of his height, he just had that never give up attitude, and you know, he did have a breakout season last year, and now he's playing as a winger, which is a bit different to what he was playing when he first started with Central Coast. So it is interesting to see how that plays out for the Central Coast, but I think he's doing a pretty good job at the moment.
And at times he's been the furthest forward, making those third man runs through the middle. And Kololo has nipped in ahead, but the boot was raised. Or was Nick O'Brien stooping low to meet the ball? Anyway, referee Ams has decided that's a free kick. It's probably a touch unlucky there on Kololo.
Yeah, a little bit, but he was a high foot. You know, he's still kind of getting his feet ready for how the Australian football is played. It is a bit different to what he did when he was overseas. So he's doing okay for now, but I guess we have plenty more to see.
He's been playing in the third division in France for US Concarneau. 25 years of age, Benny Nkolola. Came heavy off Ballard. Fortunately for the Mariners, worked out all right. This is Campbell for Blacktown. Little layoff by Jordan Smiley. Clever work by Chabal. Now Nick O'Brien. And he'll accept the gift of the throw off Nkolola. Mendy, somewhat feeding off scraps at the moment. This is Kai Rolls. Miller, who's just been away with the under-23 national team in Tajikistan. Won through to the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup by defeating Indonesia over 2 legs. Nice ball by Simon. Rue. Return left a touch short by Bozanic. Lewis sorts things out for Blacktown. Invites Bandiera forward. Chabal on the turn. Couldn't get away from Miller. Now Urena with Lockie Campbell at his back. Bozanic. Well, if that was a shot from Ollie Bozanic, it was a rather tame one.
Well, yeah, probably a little bit of frustration, to be honest. You know, they've had a lot of the ball. There's not really been a lot of scares when they have come 20, 30 metres out from Blacktown City's goal. As we mentioned a few times, with the amount of defenders at the front, they're defending very well, Blacktown City, and like I said, they are feeding for scraps, but defensively they're doing a remarkable job, and it's kind of frustrating Central Coast, as you can see, with that shot from Ollie Bozanic.
And Kololo drifting inside, and Farrell just got caught there off the ball by Nick O'Brien. Kurt Ams signalling that he's aware of that, but allowing the advantage. Lewis Miller to carry it forwards. It's a good first touch from Nisbet. Urena. Nisbet waiting in the middle, so too is Nkolola. Nobody able to apply the finishing touch for the Central Coast. Jacob Farrell has won it back though, and fires it across the face now. Matt Simon just suggesting that maybe he was held back a little bit there by Lachlan Campbell. Kurt Ams has shaken his head and said no. And instead it's Blacktown coming forward through Lynch and now Mendy. Strong run from Charles Mendy. Has he overdone it? He has. Pity for Blacktown.
It could have come a lot more, you know, that extra touch. He always looked up. It's kind of a new patch of grass that he hasn't seen the first 39 minutes of the match, so probably he was a bit excited, to be honest, and you just never know. I'll just have to correct one thing. It was Ollie Bozanic, not Ollie Bozanic. My apologies.
Don't worry, I called him Bozanic for quite a few years, but he did tell me he preferred Bozanic because that's what his dad was known as. Oh, that challenge is mistimed, and it's produced the first yellow card. And Kololo brought down. Ben Berry, the offender. And Kololo just a touch too quick for him. So Ben Berry has to watch his step. Here's the brother of Adam Berry, who's playing in midfield, incidentally, in case you were wondering. I'm told his nickname is Sticks because of those long legs, but they couldn't quite reach the ball on that occasion. And this is a free kick in a dangerous position for the Central Coast. Lewis Miller looking to attack it potentially at the back post. and Kololo and Simon and Reina are all in there too. And it does hold up in the wind again, which enabled Kai Rolls to nod it back across the face, but Blacktown have survived and are now on the charge forward with the Mariners just a little bit short on numbers. Can they profit from that? Smiley's trying to get on the end of it, but look at the ground that Kai Rolls made up. Back with O'Brien, who fires it crossfield for Bandiera. Showed too much of it to Nisbet. This is Grant Lynch. And they'll go for the return from Bandiera. And Blacktown will get themselves a corner just before the break, which will be of encouragement to their supporters. And you can be sure the likes of Grant Lynch will be taking their position in the penalty area to look to get on the end of Adam Berry's delivery. Again, this might be difficult to judge in that driving rain and strong breeze. They're going to give it a good go. Campbell's in there as well. Ben Berry is up. And Kurt Ams is not happy with the push and shove that we always get from corner kicks.
It is a nightmare for referees when it comes to corners and free kicks in the box. You just don't know what's what.
Adam Berry's delivery, and it's Kai Rolls underneath it. Now there could be the chance of a breakaway for the Central Coast Mariners, and a slip by the defender hasn't helped them either. They're in behind here. Chance for 1-0. Good save by Prendergast to deny Oli Bozanic. Again, that's two big stops from the keeper to raucous applause from the gallery.
Amazing stop by the goalkeeper. You can see here Oli Bozanic probably in territory that he probably has never been in his career, but he did do well, but Prendergast did read him very, very well, and hats off to the goalkeeper.
They made a few appearances in the A-League for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Tristan Prendergast also had spells with the Mariners and Sydney FC. He's a quality keeper. Tasmanian-born Prendergast. Now they've got a corner to defend, which Nick O'Brien does at that near post pretty comfortably. Still, we await the breakthrough. Here's Farrell. Down the line for Nkolola. Long, loping stride. And Farrell looked at first glance as though he might have been upended there by O'Brien, but again, Kurt Ams shook his head, so nothing doing.
Yeah, letting the play go, I guess, from Kurt Am, which I don't mind. Can't call every little scream and shout or every little tug, so don't mind it by Kurt Am, letting the game play and giving some extra flow into it.
If that was you, the fullback on that far side, you'd have been hollering for that.
How do you know? How did I know you were going to bring me up? I definitely would have been yelling for that.
That's going to be another Mariners corner off Charles Mendy. Gets a little fist bump from his goalkeeper, Tristan Prendergast. He's had to do his fair share of defensive duty in this first half. Into the final seconds of the regulation first 45. This would be a big blow, wouldn't it, for Blacktown if they were to succumb in the closing seconds of the opening stanza. Not like that, they won't. Not quite on the same wavelength. Reina and Nkolola. Well stolen by Ballard. Bozanic. Reina creeping down the touchline, inviting the ball as we tick over into just one additional minute at the end of the first 45. Nkolola says to Farrell, leave it, I'll take it on from here. Simon has got front position ahead of Lynch. Moreno lets it run, and Bozanic to try and place it. And again, he just didn't get the right connection, Ollie Bozanic.
No, he didn't, unfortunately. You know, it was definitely some good play out from the left. Matty Simon holding the ball up like he usually does, looked up, and you can see Bozanic at the edge of the 18-yard box. But unfortunately for Ollie, he just hasn't got his shooting boots on at the moment. But yeah, big chance for Central Coast. Probably the two biggest chances have been to Ollie Bozanic. So yeah, hopefully he gets different pairs of boots on for the second half and scores a goal or two.
And that is half-time. An entertaining first 45 it's been. It's been the expected pattern. The Mariners have dominated. Tristan Prendergast has had to make a couple of very big saves. Ollie Bozanic might have scored a couple towards the end of that first period, but at the interval, they're going all square, and Blacktown will be delighted with that. 0-0 at the break.
There's plenty of goals for sharing.
Yes, welcome back to 10 Plays, continued coverage of this year's FFA Cup. Half-time in Mudgee, in the driving rain and the wind, and no goals as yet. Blacktown City 0, Central Coast Mariners 0. The Mariners have had, though, Daniel Georgievski most of the opportunities, and a couple of good saves as well from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you can tell probably wasn't his best punch here, but he did kind of redeem himself in the next play we're going to see, where he pulled up a brilliant save and a lot of confidence in for him. He's had a tremendous game, I would say. At the minute, he's probably man of the match.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. That was a fine one-handed stop from Matt Simon. The Mariners will be frustrated. They haven't been able to find the breakthrough. That was close for Arena as well.
Yeah, another chance in behind. Even with the Blacktown City 5-man at the back, this chance right here was probably the biggest. Another tremendous save, like we said. Ollie in a position where he probably has never seen himself in, but you know, he did it very well, and unfortunately the ball didn't go in, but that just means there's more entertainment here for the second half.
Well, in terms of the numbers, those stats pretty much show how dominant the Mariners have been. 7 shots, 72% possession. But strangely enough, I don't think Mark Crittenden will be too concerned by that. He's more impressed by the fact that it's still goalless and they're still in with a chance of causing an upset.
Well, that's all that really matters in a game like this. You don't want to be knocked out of the tournament by having great statistics, but you've lost the game. So you can tell from the get-go they had a game plan. They're trying to get off some scraps from Central Coast Mariners if they were to, you know, get into a little counter-attack or something like that. But it hasn't worked out for them yet. But the main vocal point is the fact that they haven't conceded a goal.
Exactly. Still 45 minutes to go. Second half not too far away as we head to this short break. Let's introduce you. You probably know him already, to one of our team here at Network 10 and Paramount Plus. And that is, of course, legendary ex-Socceroo, Mark Milligan. Let's get to know him a little bit better.
G'day, I'm Andy Harper. I'm going to be calling the football on Network 10 and Paramount Plus, and I'm pumped. The first team for which I played was the mighty St Ives Eagles, which mightn't have been much back then, but it's certainly grown into be a really big community club on the North Shore of Sydney. Australian football has defined my life. Played it for many, many years and have been incredibly fortunate to have built a life and raised a family in and through football, so it means everything. The most exciting thing about the future for Australian football is the future. It's a game that has got so much room to grow. It's so big internationally, it's massive at the grassroots, and in the A-League and the W-League as club competitions, we have 2 fantastic products. The Socceroos' biggest hurdle in qualifying for Qatar 2022 is twofold. Firstly, their own mentality and the danger maybe of self-doubt. They manage that well, they come up against the might of Japan. On the field, Japan are their biggest hurdle. My favourite Socceroos moment, which is a prized memory in a glut of memories about the Socceroos, is when, with Ange Postecoglou leading the team and Mile Jedinek captaining, the Socceroos won the Asian Cup on home soil in 2015. And my favourite Matildas moment stretches way back to the Olympics in Sydney in the year 2000, when Australia played Brazil and our own Sonny Hughes out-Braziled Brazil with an overhead goal. Well, I feel incredibly privileged to have this seat in Australian football with Channel 10 and Paramount Plus to call the action for Australian club fans, fans of the national teams, the Socceroos, the Matildas, the whole shebang. What do I bring in particular is a lot of enthusiasm, I can guarantee that, a lot of passion, a lot of heartache that's gone with the journey this far, and that's something shared by all the fans of football in this country, but the future is very bright. I feel very privileged to be part of the team that's taking the fans on that journey. I'm tipping the Socceroos to qualify for Qatar 2022. I'm looking forward to the Matildas seriously challenging in the Women's Asian Cup. And on the domestic front, I'm expecting Melbourne Victory to undergo a resurgence. 2 seasons on the bounce in the doldrums is something unbefitting of a club of their status and what they've achieved. And I think with Tony Popovich and a great squad, I think they might actually set some sort of pace in the A-League. The W League is going to have a whole pile of new faces, more youngsters coming through, getting that key chance at playing full-time football in a seriously good competition. It's a great product, the W League, and let's see if Melbourne City can get back to the top of the pile once they gave the other teams a fair bit of distance last year. Well, I'm looking forward to the restart of A-League and W League because club football is everything. I'm looking forward to the A-League and the W League under APL code now, that fancy name, relaunching its immediate future. I think that's very, very exciting. And I'm looking forward to Grand Final Day already. I know we've got a lot of football to get in between now and then, but Grand Final Day is everything. And for the A-League and W League, they're the pin-up days. I can't wait for both of them.
Well, the cup set is still on a very wintry day in Mudgee. We're all set for the second half. Still no goals between Blacktown City and the Central Coast Mariners. Grant Lynch, part of that back five, just encouraging his teammates to keep things going. They're staying overnight tonight in Mudgee, using this trip as a bit of a bonding session. I think that might be code for a few beers, Daniel Georgievski. They've done pretty well first half.
Maybe the beers after the game if they win,
Yeah.
but at the moment...
Here's a chance, let's just break away, because it's Nkololo on the left for the Central Coast, right at the outset of the second period.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bonding session. The fact that the coaches considered this game to be more than just a game for the boys. You know, they have a season coming up, and obviously a bonding session is what all football players love, being with the guys you spend every day with. And hopefully that kind of helps out with the game tonight.
It looks as though the rain might have just eased up a little bit, which will make things a bit more tolerable for the players. Nick O'Brien, whose brother Jack is on the bench with the throw, launched forward by Nkololo. They have got the wind at their backs, of course, now. Second half, Central Coast, which, as you can see by that corner flag, is still pretty strong. Grant Lynch trying to edge his way forward. And he will take the throw in. Training to be a doctor is Grant Lynch. Works in private healthcare at the moment, whilst he completes his studies. Prendergast to launch it forward. Made a couple of really good saves first half, Tristan Prendergast. Taken down by Lynch. This is Shabao. Mendy on the turn, and Shabao trying to drive forward. Pop out here for O'Brien, who has Nkololo at his back. And O'Brien almost lost his feet 2 or 3 times before eventually Nkololo unceremoniously upended him.
Yeah, a bit of a wrestling match there, as you can tell. Look, I think from the two teams, Blacktown City have come out firing, as you can tell. There a lot of little fighting, a lot of little 50-50s won. The wind has not stopped, as we can see, but here we go, there's a chance for him.
Yeah, free kick to be delivered by Adam Berry. Back post, well, it's on target, I guess you could say. I think from Nick O'Brien. No real issues for Mark Birighitti. In fact, it was Ben Berry, I think, who had that rather tame effort on goal. You wanted to make a point about Ken Shembry, who's involved with the Mariners, Daniel, but of course, historically, he's had a long association with Blacktown as well.
Yeah, look, Ken Shembry's he's been there for 10 months, almost a year actually, at Central Coast Mariners, and his philosophy bringing young boys. His first season's actually been quite tremendous. They've had a great season last year, Central Coast. They've sold off 3 players. Stenson's
just break away because Bozanic is in decent position here. I'll come back to that point for you in a moment, Daniel. Ballard back towards Rolls on halfway. Continue.
Yeah, obviously we've mentioned Gianni Stenson's a few times. He was one of those major players last season that got Central Coast to where they ended up. But the fact that they sold him to Viking FK, we mentioned it before, Cole to Stuttgart, Alan Cole to Stuttgart, and young Ying Rees to Aarhus in the Denmark League. So these are 3 young, exciting players that Central Coast have done, and that was all through Ken Shembry.
And they've got a bit of money for those players as well, which of course is always vital for clubs in Australia. And Nick Montgomery has said quite clearly that that is a big part of the Mariners' DNA. They want to get back to that to continue to produce players. Here's Bozanic, who of course was a Mariners product himself when he went overseas, firstly to Lucerne in Switzerland, and then later on played for Hearts in Scotland. They're stroking the ball around here, the A-League club, Reina. Matt Simon's gone down in back play, and Grant Lynch has to make that because arriving was Storm Roux. Final touch was off the New Zealand fullback. That's the sort of position where Matt Simon might have been running onto, and he felt he was impeded in the build-up there.
Yeah, of course. Look, Matty Simon's he's a warrior. You know, he's opened up space for Storm Roo, which he obviously kind of knew that the ball was going to get there. So running in from the right back, it's probably not it's the longest route, but I think Matt Simon would have felt that there was a foul because he would have been there. But at the same time, great defence from Blacktown City.
Charles Mendy looking hungry for the ball, the quickest man in the NPL New South Wales, I'm told. And now it's Nkololo for the Mariners. Jacob Farrell had a very strong start to this game on his competitive debut. Miller, turned back by Nisbet. Everybody behind the ball for Blacktown. We had to go the scenic route, of course, to get to the round of 32. Beat Marconi in the 7th round of preliminaries by the only goal to get to this stage, and before that they saw off the Blacktown Spartans in the Blacktown Derby 4-2 in round 6, UTS 10-0 in round 5, and the Tarrawanna Blues 5-1 in round 4. Some great names in there. That's what we love about the Cup. 765 teams around the nation have entered this year. And of course the other thing that's new about the Cup this year is that there's a Asian Champions League spot for the winners as well. That is if our coefficient hasn't let us down in that regard. Might be the AFC Cup, who knows?
Well, definitely love to see an NPL team win the league and play in the Asian Champions League.
Yeah.
That is something that's the beauty of the Cup. You just never know what could happen.
Ferried out by Arena towards Roo and turned back by Bozanic. They've got to find a way to try and unlock the door here, the Central Coast. Blacktown making it pretty difficult for them. I have to start all the way back with Mark Birigitti. He uses the wind to pick out Nkololo. Now Orena. Well defended by Lachlan Campbell, who's got rid of the headgear for the second half, despite that rather nasty cut he picked up in the first 45, that clash with Matt Simon. Bozanic. Orena, it's awkward for Rolls. Oof, dearie me. You could hear the clank of boots coming together. Kai Rolls rarely takes a backward step. Oh, and he's caught his opponent second time around. He got away with the first one, Kai Rolls. Not the second time. He is a warrior, isn't he?
Oh, sure. His last year, he probably had his best season, as a lot of these Central Coast players had. And obviously with that, gained a lot of confidence and obviously his strength. He's still a young boy. And you can tell him and Tonic, when he does come back from his injury, are pretty much the heart of Central Coast.
Another one who was part of that Australian under-23 squad in Tajikistan. Wind still making things difficult for the players. Kurt Ams might have played on there. Instead, that little couple of seconds break allows Blacktown to regroup and get players behind the ball.
Yeah, you can tell straight away. The defensive block, the one play coming in, one play going out, you can tell they're very well structured. They're obviously continuing on from their last year's amazing performance before the lockdown. So it's really exciting for them. It's, like I said, it's all about results in the Cup. And for them, they're actually playing a very good game, very mentally strong structure, and it's going very well for them, to be brutally honest, and it's actually giving Central Coast a bit of headaches.
Here's Nisbet as they try and find the Panadol to that headache. No way through. Now Blacktown were 4 points clear of Sydney United, the NPL New South Wales, when the league was shut down after the outbreak of COVID in New South Wales back in June. And as mentioned in the first half, they were on a 10-game unbeaten run So they're in good nick. Arena goes down, caught from behind by Lynch. But a bit nasty that one for Arena, who's remained down on the turf. Let's have another look at it, Daniel.
Yeah, you can tell. I think the change that Nick Montgomery has made into the second half is getting Arena and Matty Simon to be pulling back to drag the defence more into the midfield mark. And you can see there's a lot of space there. And you can see already there's been a yellow card, there's been another couple of fouls. So you can see it's kind of working, but it's still not breaking the Blacktown City's defence. But we never know what can happen from this free kick.
Yeah, their defence has been resolute so far. Let's see if a set piece will do the trick for Nick Montgomery's team. Two veterans in conversation, Simon and Bozanic. Simon walks away. Bozanic thought about the quick one to Storm Rue on the right and thought better of it. And he might go for goal. That's a good save again by Tristan Prendergast to deny Ollie Bozanic. That's 3 times now.
Wow. Wow, wow. He's having a remarkable game, Tristan Prendergast. Look, I think Ollie's not liking it because he's actually had an amazing stroke of this ball, and I don't think Tristan expected it at the start, but you know, he was there, and look, eventually he might go in, but amazing by the goalkeeper.
Well. Yeah, it's 3 big saves he's made. Still got the corner to defend though, and Kololo delivers it away by Matty Lewis and further clear by Jackson Bandiera. Awkward one to pick out of the afternoon sky. That NPL New South Wales season was built for Blacktown City on a strong defence, and Tristan Prendergast kept 7 clean sheets in his 12 appearances before the league was annulled. And that's been in evidence this afternoon. Been very strong defensively, that back 5. Grant Lynch, key cog in it. Drops nicely here for Mendy, who uses his strength to link up with his teammate Mario Chabot, and it's going to be a corner for Blacktown. And this might be a big chance for Mark Crittenden's team.
Yeah, you just never know with this wind. Obviously in the second half, they only had 1 corner, and it actually was quite deadly. It was right in the heart of the 6-yard box, so it'll be interesting with the wind going the other way, how this ball is delivered, and you just never know.
See what Adam Berry can conjure up here. Towards the near post. Grant Lynch got it back towards Berry. And Birighitti called into serious action virtually for the first time in the game. Nodded back goalwards by Chabot, partly cleared by Nkololo, and it's going to be a throw for Blacktown. Only need 1 good chance to score. Didn't quite come on for Mendy. Sorted out by Bozanic. Flicked out towards Nisbet if he can keep it in play, but he can't. Bandiera. Drops for Lewis. And unfortunately for Blacktown, Mendy is offside, because they were building quite nicely there.
Yeah, nice little tackle. Good that Kurt Am didn't call that one, because I think it was quite fair at halfway. But you know, unfortunately, Mendy didn't read the play and just started going forward. Didn't see that he was in an offside position. But it's good positive play by Blacktown City, considering you know, it's 59 minutes in. They're holding Central Coast to 0 goals, which is hats off to them. But we do believe that anything is possible, and like we said, this wind, any little goal, any little deflection, you just never know what could happen.
And Kololo seen off at the pass by Lockie Campbell. Mariners seeking to avoid becoming the first A-League club to lose 3 times in the Cup to NPL opposition. Defeated by Blacktown, as mentioned, in 2017, and of course the year before that They went out to Green Gully. That's a famous goal from Liam Boland. Wellington Phoenix have also lost twice to NPL opposition. Bentley Greens and Brisbane Strikers, but no A-League team has suffered 3. But Blacktown maybe just growing in a bit of confidence. That's too far in advance, though, of Jordan Smiley. We've played an hour. And so far, so good for the NPL New South Wales outfit. Launched by Birighitti. It's the sort of day where we might see a goalkeeper score.
Well, I did mention it, 30, 40 metres out. I didn't say 80. But yeah, it is. It was an interesting one, to be true.
No changes as yet by either coach. I wonder if we might see the likes of Cy Goddard or the Brazilian Moresh, even young Damien Sekenis for the Mariners, who scored twice in that 3-3 draw with the Wanderers last week, as Jacob Farrell is bowled over by Lachlan Campbell. Kurt Ams very much the man in charge. This is Lewis Miller. Rue trying to puncture the Blacktown defensive lines. They've been very well organised. Grant Lynch to clear. And as far as Bazanik. Again, I'm not quite sure that was the right ball to be playing. This is Farrell. Lays it off for Nkololo, and offside against the Frenchman. Never quite know what you're going to get with the imports. They could be Thomas Broich or Mario Jardel. What have you made of Nkololo's performance so far?
Well, you can tell he has something to him. You know, those long legs, the left foot. Just by the look of it, you can see that it's like he's going to pull out an absolute worldie. But at the moment, Blacktown's defence is actually holding him quite well. He's, like I said earlier on, he's learning the Australian football. It is much different than what it is in Europe. So it might take him a bit of time, but I think he's still settling in, and it might take a couple of games, to be honest.
At least the weather's the same for him.
Well,
for now, anyway.
For now.
Talking of which, the wind has held it up nicely for Mario Chabot, who's around. Farrell, chance here, and Jordan Smiley saw his effort blocked by Kai Rolls. It's still alive here, though, for Bandiera, and rather tamely in the end into the gloves of Mark Birighitti, but really the first sign of a real threat for Blacktown City.
Yeah, look, the ball held that wind up a lot, and you can tell that no one really went for it other than Mario Chabot, and he read it quite well. You know, the young defender probably should have gone for it, been the main man for it, but as you can see, Mario Chabot just took it perfectly, went into the box, and unfortunately for Blacktown City, Kyle Rolls was there to block it.
Jacob Farrell just taking some liquid on board on the near touchline. Perhaps just feeling it a little bit with his first competitive game in Mariners colours. Maybe he's been on the much vaunted pickle juice to ward off cramp. Who knows?
Or beetroot.
Or beetroot, one of the two.
Look, he is quite known during training as the most stamina from any other boys, so being in a game, it's different than training, so maybe it is hit him a little bit. It is his first match, and he has been doing very, very well, especially in the first half. So, you know, little pickle juice, little beetroot juice won't do any harm. I think he'll be fine for the rest of the game.
Foul on Nisbet, meantime, is going to give the Mariners another opportunity from the set-piece situation. There are the Mariners substitutes warming up. That's Matt Hatch, famously scored within 10 seconds of his debut in the A-League against MacArthur, I think it was, last season. Might see one or two of those changes shortly. 25 minutes to go, and Blacktown still holding out the Mariners. Is that about to change? Ollie Bozanic has tested Tristan Prendergast once from similar range. Again he goes for it, and again Prendergast pushes it out. Another really good stop by the Blacktown City custodian. He's almost single-handedly keeping the score sheet blank at the moment.
Ollie's thinking, what on earth does he have to do to get past his goalkeeper today? Tremendous save, unbelievable.
And again it produces a corner, which again Benny and Kololo will take. And Nick O'Brien says, have another go.
You can see here, he couldn't hit it any sweeter. He couldn't hit it any sweeter, but unfortunately for him, the goalkeeper read him, and like I said, tremendous save. It's like a repeat from 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. He's in fine nick, isn't he? Might be tested again here. And he didn't quite reach that one, but fortunately for him, it bounced off the head of Kai Rolls and rather kindly into his gloves. Well, he, of course, played those games for the Wanderers in the A-League as a replacement for Daniel Lopar after he went back to Europe. So he's used to playing at the top level.
Yeah, he's had a bit of
played
experience.
with him?
I played with him, yeah. Really nice kid. He came in pretty fresh. You know,
Just watch this, sorry. And Kololo inside the box. Desperate defending by Campbell. Bozanic forced to turn back out. And now Ballard. Mariners fans in the stands, starting to make themselves heard. Perhaps feeling as though their team needs a bit of a lift. Nisbet back for Miller. And Kololo has got in behind Grant Lynch, but Lynch shows great strength to ward him off the ball, and Bandiera will clear.
Tremendous defending again.
Back with Roux. Only partly away by Campbell, and he got a thump in the back from his goalkeeper as well. Just a little bit of miscommunication there. And whilst they suck in the big ones, and I think a change might be about to be made. Yeah.
Substitution, the central coast Barrett.
Josh Nisbet
Number 4, Joshua Nisbet.
to be replaced.
Number 25, Matthew Hatch.
Matthew Hatch is with us. Our local youngster, of course, Matt Hatch, still just 20 years of age, and you can finish off your Tristan Prendergast story.
I don't want to go back to it because it doesn't end up the best, but no, he actually came in after the pandemic and after everything was organised, and came in very, very ready, very fit, and I think the first 2-3 games he actually did quite well in the goals for Lope, and Lope was probably one of the best goalkeepers that season. Yeah. So he came in quite well, but you know, unfortunately, Alessandro Diamanti decided to play, and I think we all just took a step back and had to clap, and Tristan unfortunately got the bad end of that stick.
Yeah, he got chipped, didn't he, by the Italian legend?
Twice, but let's not bring that up again. But Tristan has forgotten all about that, and he's obviously made up for it with the amount of saves and great stops he's done in this game thus far.
Yeah, 4 outstanding stops. And Blacktown have got themselves a free kick here. And we're just over 20 minutes to go. They're still in with a big chance of repeating that shock from 4 years ago. Jabbed out by Mendy towards Bandiera. Chabot back for Adam Berry. Campbell. Nice little drop of the shoulder there from Lockie Campbell, and he'll continue his run forward. Mendy in possession. Fires the crossover. Nick O'Brien's underneath it. It's scooped away by Rolls. O'Brien will reset it for Chabot. Twisting and turning away from Farrell. Intelligent little ball into the box too. Smiley being pursued successfully by Hatch, but his clearance is weak. And O'Brien fires it into the box, and the Mariners under a bit of pressure here. And that's not really the ending that Blacktown wanted. Thumped high, wide, and not so handsome from Lachlan Campbell.
No, definitely something. He made a good forward run after some positive play, but as you can tell, you can see some of the Blacktown City players are going down, stretching those calves out. So as nice as the field does look, it must be a bit soft, and especially with the wind and the conditions, that cramp might kind of not help Blacktown City in that way. We'll just wait and see. Maybe more pickle juice needs to come out.
Well, normally I would say you're right, of course, because Blacktown haven't played in 5 months, so the legs will be feeling a bit weary. But of course it's a similar situation for the Mariners. However, they are the full-time pros. And Blacktown just having a better spell at the moment. Started to just ask the odd question here and there. Hatch was collected a little bit late there by O'Brien, and 1 or 2 words were exchanged. Now it falls kindly for Arena. Is this the moment for the Mariners? He got it stuck between his feet. Marco Arena, the World Cup star. And Kalolo trying to tee up Storm Roux. And by that point, Blacktown had players back behind the ball, but it really opened up for Marco Arena. This is Roux, Ballard, and Bozanic to fire it. Too many bodies in the way. Sorted out by Smiley. Trying to dribble his way through, and he's done pretty well. He's got support here from Mendy on the left. It's Charles Mendy, and Lewis Miller will see it out for a throw. But Blacktown started to pose much more of a problem for the Mariners. But at the other end, Daniel, this perhaps could have been, maybe should have been 1-0.
I think if he went back and made it what the right decision would have been, he was kind of stuck in 2 minds there at the Arena. So that could be also because of lack of games in the last couple of months. But yeah, I think someone of his qualities would have definitely at least had a shot on target.
Look at the push and shove between Campbell and Hatch inside that penalty area. It's none too friendly out there.
I love it.
That's the way the cup should be. Mario Chabot just stretching out the hamstrings as they prepare to launch the long throw from Grant Lynch. Can that pay dividends? Mendy at the near post. Scooped up and away by Rolls. Lynch to return it. And Kalolo in the right fullback position. And Miller to put his boot through it. Well, Mark Crittenden can be rightly proud of this performance from Blacktown. Another change to be made. In fact, it's a double change for Blacktown.
Substitution for Blacktown City. Number 10, Mario Chabot, off. Number 8, Jack O'Brien, off. Also, number 18, James O'Brien, off. Number 17, Dakota Sue, on.
There you go, you heard it nice and loud and clear on the public address system in Mudgee. Mario Chabot and Nick O'Brien have done their bit. Jack O'Brien, Nick's brother, and Dakota Askew get their opportunity, perhaps to try and swing things Mark Crittenden team's way. There is Mark in the baseball cap in the background. And Dakota Askew has a relatively decent CV. He's played overseas, National League level, National League North for Poole Town in the UK, and in Gibraltar for a club there. And he's a right wing back. He has a bit of something about him, so we'll keep an eye on him. Here's Reina meantime. Oh, he finds Matt Simon well. Is this the moment for the Central Coast? Not quite for Matt Hatch. And that'll be recycled through Max Ballard. Reina. And it's Benny Nkololo who scores. And finally the Mariners have the breakthrough. It's a fine finish by their new French import, Benny Nkololo, to break Blacktown City hearts as he goes off to celebrate with those travelling Mariners fans. Finally their pressure has told.
What a great finish, and on your debut. Obviously we didn't know much about him. You obviously can just see from his style of play, but he opened up perfectly behind. Blacktown didn't see his run, they just let him go, and you can see that sweet left foot of his, and unfortunately Tristan at this moment wasn't able to save after he's had a tremendous game up to now.
Well, what a way to kick off your Mariners career. And Nick Montgomery, as you heard, has chosen that moment to make his second change. Matty Simon, who was involved in the build-up for the goal, has been withdrawn. And we're going to see the introduction of Damien Sekenis. Who, as mentioned, scored twice in that 3-3 draw against Western Sydney Wanderers in the friendly last week, and is the son of Peter Sekenis, who's the current manager of Marconi Stallions. Change as well for Blacktown. Ben Berry has been withdrawn. And Carlos D'Oliveira is with us. So all change on the benches.
It'll be interesting to see now, Simon, how Blacktown City shape up. Obviously, they were playing a great defensive line, waiting on that counter attack. But now there's only 13 minutes left of this cup game, and there's nothing after this. So it'll be interesting to see how they do change their tactic. Obviously, the coaches had a plan beforehand if it did come to this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and I'm also interested to see how this young boy, Damien Sekenis, is actually lit up the Central Coast as of late. His father's played plenty of times in the NSL. It's good to see a father-son coming into the football game, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
He did sit on the bench once in the A-League last season against the Newcastle Jets, but didn't get to play, so it's his competitive debut tonight. And he's coming on with his team in a pretty good situation. Leading thanks to that Benny Nkololo goal. And also off the bench is Moresh. There he is, the Brazilian, who is freshly arrived to the club. He played for Geylang in Singapore last season and scored 11 goals in 21 matches. Rio-born winger stroke striker who began his career with Vasco da Gama. Still a bit in this. You rating the hair of Moresh, Daniel?
Something different. I don't mind it, to be honest. I like a bit of character, as we know. But it's something different. We'll see what he does for next week. I heard he loves to change it up a little bit, so a bit of entertainment for us.
Here come Blacktown, not out of it as yet. Jack O'Brien involved, and Birigiti forced into a smart stop at that near post, and just had a little look at the linesman as if to say, yeah, I wasn't sure whether that crossed the byline for a corner either. Would have been a good introduction for D'Oliveira, who gave it plenty of welly.
Yeah, it was a good strike. You can see obviously Blacktown City have changed it up a bit, and look, they've had a great shot on target. Obviously I want it to go in, but we'll see how it goes. We've got 10 minutes to go. It's very exciting.
Down the line by Bandiera. Mendy. It's good work by Charles Mendy. Just held up. D'Oliveira couldn't take it on forwards before Lewis Miller arrived. So we tick towards the final 10 minutes. Reina, and Sakanis was free on the left. They found him second time around, and the ball was just not quite accurate enough for Ureno, who was arriving into the box.
As you can see, Simon, the game has opened up and it's entertaining. The first 70 minutes before, it was entertaining in other ways, but now you can see it's opened up and Blacktown City are coming up, and little cross here, but yeah, it is coming quite exciting and be very entertaining in the last 10 minutes.
D'Oliveira's cross, up and away by Rolls. Lewis clipping it over towards Dakota Askew. Askew to sling it in, but nobody attacking it, unfortunately, for Blacktown. That's where you need, I guess, a Travis Major, who departed the club during the off-season to take up another professional opportunity with the Punjab club in India. Another attacking player, Sean Rooney, you might remember from his A-League men's days with the Newcastle Jets. He was also at the club, but has left during the off-season. Hatch. Well, it was the right idea, wasn't it? Now it goes from one end to the other, and the Mariners have to scramble back. It's Charles Mendy. Oh, and he lost his footing, and ultimately the ball on the greasy top.
Yeah, a bit of fatigue, Simon, at the moment. You can tell from both teams, not just Blacktown City, but I guess there's nothing to lose for Blacktown City, and they're going forward, and even the defenders are coming up, and we shall see how it plays out for him.
Grant Lynch just a little bit too eager here on Bozanic. He was a part of that Blacktown team that beat the Mariners 4 years ago. They need to find a goal from somewhere if they're to repeat the trick. As it stands, Benny and Kololo's goal on debut will see the Mariners through to the last 16 of this year's FFA Cup. There's still a bit of football to be played yet. And here's D'Oliveira. He's been lively off the bench. It's a good spin by Bozanic to relieve the pressure and play in Moresh. And Arenas says, give it to me. Here's Marco Arena. They're queuing up here. And Kololo, good save again by Prendergast. Arena, or rather, too casual by Marco Arena.
I think you believe he was offside there, Simon.
Perhaps he thought he was off. Prendergast again, what a game he's had. Just reminding A-League clubs perhaps that he's still around. Matt Hatch's pace will get him there ahead of the fullback. And it's slid out by Campbell for a corner. Here's that previous attack.
Oh, great ball back. You can see, look, he's ready. He's ready to score a second goal. You know, he's in the mood, but unfortunately, Prendergast was there again. It's you know, it's opened up. Like I said, the floodgates have opened up, and I guess Tristan's still there and saving Central Coast, sorry, Blacktown City.
Yeah, I'll make that 5 stops now. 5 good ones too. Crucially, he couldn't keep out that goal in the 75th minute from Nkololo. Here's the latest corner for the Mariners, and it flicks off that elegantly coiffured bonds of Moresh and behind.
I think you lost a bit of colour when you headed that ball, Simon.
Another change. Matty Lewis will hand over the captain's armband. And we're going to see the introduction of Jake True, who's making his debut for Blacktown City, another one that had some A-League experience with the Western Sydney Wanderers. Actually played just 8 minutes in the senior competition against Western United a couple of years back now. Boy from Shoalhaven. No doubt been sent on with the message, find us a goal. Here's Urena as the Mariners try and find a second and kill off any Blacktown resistance. True's first involvement, useful ball, but Mendy was offside.
Hey, where'd you find that flag? You didn't have it in the first half.
Blacktown fans in the stands making their feelings pretty clear to the linesman. Changes coming thick and fast. It's the end of the section for Marco Urena, who assisted for that Nkulolo goal. And it's a Mariners debut for a very interesting prospect, Cy Goddard, 24 years of age, born London, former Tottenham Hotspur junior. He's played in Italy, Cyprus and India, and also for the Japanese junior teams. He's got an English dad, a Japanese mum, and I tell you what, watching his highlights, Daniel, he looks like the classic Japanese number 10. I'm not saying he's the standard of a Keisuke Honda or anything like that, but he's got that sort of thing about him stylistically.
Yeah, they have that technique that's just, it's so good to watch, but it's hard to defend against. And funny enough, last season he was in Mumbai FC, and how he came to Central Coast was he was recommended by Lafondra.
Yeah,
funny
they were
enough,
teammates,
so
of course.
They were teammates, so yeah, that means we all know Adam Lafondra, so it's very exciting to see what he has to offer.
He's mainly left peg, good close control. At the moment, he's not been able to get on the ball. Launch forwards towards Jordan Smiley, who leaves it for Askew. And it's going to be a Blacktown corner. Late pressure for Mark Birighitti and co to deal with. Could they force an equaliser in extra time? Beautiful backdrop to this game in the wine region of Mudgee. Enjoying a rare chance to see some top-class football as they scatter from the corner. It's off the head of Sekenis, but it's back in dangerously. And Blacktown appealing for a penalty. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other there, I think. And again, Kurt Ams in the perfect position. It's Smiley who's remained prone on the turf. Got a whack to the left hand, if I'm reading that correctly. Maybe even got trodden on in that melee.
Yeah, it feels like he got trodden on, which definitely hurts a lot more, especially when it's got that wind and that chill. So yeah, hopefully he's all fine. He's got an up. He didn't get a penalty, so everything seems to be fine.
Long throw from Lynch, helped on towards that near post. Jake True was just sniffing for that sort of opportunity. Grabbed quickly out of danger by Birighitti. Blacktown still very much in this contest. Adam Berry with the little push on Sekenis. They're pretty close now, the Mariners. To avenging that cup loss 4 years ago. It's not been easy by any stretch. Another foul. And really, this is playing into Central Coast Mariners' hands. They will take all the time they need. Still none too friendly out there. Jack O'Brien getting a bit of a shove as he was shirt-fronted by Kai Rolls.
Yeah, there's no need for that, Simon. I think it's just wasting time. It's frustrating. They are quite frustrated as they have played a very good game up to now. But you know, little things like that, you're wasting time. You don't need that, and I'm pretty sure the coach won't be happy with that one.
They got a free kick here, conceded by Max Ballard. 90 minutes almost up. They can throw caution to the wind here, if you'll pardon the pun, on such a windy day. They will launch it into the box. Could be a test this for Birighitti. Underneath it was Mendy, and Birighitti spilled it. Claiming a foul, as all goalkeepers do in that situation, but to be fair, I think Kurt Am's decision to play on was correct. Just a goalkeeping error. 3 minutes to be added. This is De Oliveira. Whistle goes again. Another free kick for Blacktown. More pressure on the Central Coast. Tristan Prendergast is going to take it. Everybody's piled forward for Blacktown. Floated delivery. Appeals for hands. Again, Kurt Am says nothing doing. These are nervy last minutes for the Central Coast Mariners.
Well, you don't want to concede after playing pretty good, I guess, the first 90 minutes or so. So, yeah, it will be heartbreaking, but I think kicking the ball right off that isn't the best. But look, any seconds wasted, it's fine. But I think for Central Coast, they could be happy with the performance, but I guess we'll see 2 more minutes to go.
Here's Bandiera. Dakota Askew just unable to contort the body enough to keep the ball in play. More valuable seconds wasted for the Central Coast. But it's been a really good cup tie, this one. And Blacktown well set up by Mark Crittenden to frustrate the Mariners. They've been grateful to their goalkeeper at times. 5 very good saves. They just kept them alive until Nkololo scored. Now, can they make it safe here, the Mariners? Cy Goddard to Maresh, the 2 new signings combining, but Maresh has run out of real estate. And Blacktown might just have time for one more attack. And busting a gut to get there is Jordan Smiley. Behind him is Mendy. Cross deflected again. They appeal for handball, more in hope than expectation this time. And the Mariners should be able to see it out from here. And particularly as they've just got a foul on Nkololo. Late yellow card. Tired challenge really from Jackson Bandiera. He won't care about the card. He will care about the seconds that have been wasted. At the moment, there is the match winner, Benny Nkololo. Well, that sums it up, doesn't it, for Blacktown? Hands on heads. Frustration for them, but they've given a very, very good account of themselves again in the cup. As Kurt Ams brings matters to a close, it is the Mariners who go through. The Nick Montgomery raid is up and running with a victory. A bit of revenge for that cup loss in 2017, as the Mariners serve notice that last year was no fluke. Benny Nkololo with the winner. Blacktown brave, but ultimately beaten. Tristan Prendergast was heroic between the sticks, but ultimately there was to be no repeat of that win 4 years ago. Central Coast Mariners then through to the last 16 of the FFA Cup. They've defeated Blacktown City in Mudgee by 1-0. And that is us for our coverage on 10 Play from this game. Of course, still 2 more games being played tonight. Western United, Newcastle Jets, Newcastle Olympic against MacArthur. Have a look at those games if you can, but in the meantime, from myself, Simon Hill, and Daniel Georgievsky, hope you enjoyed our coverage this afternoon. Bye for now.
Up the Maroons!
Mariners! Up the Mariners, I'm telling you.